Hello and welcome to another edition of Entrepreneur TV. Now, do you love the great outdoors? Do you like to explore? Do you actually want to go and explore a bit more? But actually, it can be expensive. Do you want to make more trips in your life? Well, I am going to introduce you to my next guest, Brian from Motorhome World. Yes, Brian, you have a vehicle that will probably suit anyone. And also they'll be able to take lots of trips.
Absolutely, yes, we do.
Now, about Motorhome World, sort of what is it, sort of in a nutshell? We'll go into the nuts and bolts of it. What is it that you actually do?
So Motorhome World's an independent broker, Emily, and we offer a consultative approach where we connect buyers and sellers of motorhomes and camper vans. So another way to describe that is like an estate agent for your motorhome. So we solve a problem for the sellers by helping them sell. We do lots which we can obviously tell you more about, and a consultative approach for someone who's looking to purchase a motorhome.
Now, they are gaining popularity.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look back at motorhomes, Brian, years ago, oh my goodness, they were a little bit primitive, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you didn't get all the bells and whistles, and now, well, the world is your oyster.
Absolutely. Oh, it's massive. I mean, it's a big industry and a growing industry because more and more people are being attracted to what it provides in terms of having a motorhome or a camper van to go where you want, when you want. So yeah, and a lot of our younger demographics is what I can see. A lot more younger people that are doing it. And obviously are attracted to it, you know.
I think as well, like social media, we see now all these fantastic camper van and motorhome adventures of people. Mm-hmm. And you see that actually, finally, people are starting to explore this country. Mm-hmm. Never mind about going abroad in them. They're actually exploring some of the most beautiful places. Now, you are from Scotland.
I am, yes.
And there are, especially at them top coast there, I mean, wow, breathtaking.
Amazing places in the country. And I think, and even myself, there's places in the country, Scotland included, that I haven't been, which is, you know, we're I suppose we get complacent and you don't necessarily explore your own country. You tend to sometimes go abroad and try to explore other places. But the UK is fantastic, some of the places, and obviously the weather is a big part. But we get lots of good weather, and the thing about motorhomes and camper vans, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, people like to be outdoors, and that's a big thing, you know, if you're outside.
I mean, when you get your customers come in, I would imagine probably one of the first things you do is actually find out what their needs are and what their requirements are before you show them any vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite an overwhelming experience for somebody in the buying side, unless they've had experience in maybe own motorhomes, of course. But certainly people at the start of their journey that are considering it, there's a lot of different variations and different options that are there. So exactly that. We have a consultative approach where we have a conversation about who's using it, you know, where they're looking to go, what they're looking to use it for, and the essentials of what they're actually, what they think they need. Because I say think they need because that sometimes changes by the time they go on that journey to, you know, get inside different vehicles and find the right one. So yeah.
Would you say then, like, you sort of show them a few and then just let them settle in and just see how they feel inside it? Because my friend bought one, didn't really do that, Brian, and all of a sudden got it, took it up the road, went away for a weekend, and she said, I suddenly realised I need more storage. Mm-hmm. You know, is it a case that people should really be a bit more thoughtful of the whole process?
Yeah, I think when you start, there's functional parts of it, of what you need, and some people will not know that till they obviously start to, as your friend, you know, bought it and then maybe discovered. So I always say to clients, buyers, potential buyers when they come, is no matter what you're looking for, no matter the budget, there is always a trade-off from making a decision. So you need to decide, for example, somebody will say, you know, I need a lot of storage, but I don't want a vehicle over a certain length.
Yeah.
So that right away is a conflict. So it's about defining that and then kind of narrowing it down to say, well, what's more important? and then obviously make a decision for there. But yeah, that's common for. I don't see people making the wrong decision. It's just people not. You've got to get inside them. You've got to think that through a wee bit more. And that's what we do. We kind of work with the client to let them see inside different variations. And obviously they do that on their own as well elsewhere. You know, they go on a journey, research online, of course, and they go through that whole process. So a lot of information out there that's great, but they still need guidance.
They
and that,
do.
you know, it's still a big purchase in terms of the values of most of these vehicles. And it's just about getting that and giving them a bit of guidance to what worked for them. So that's what we do.
The other thing as well is, I think this really became it came to light in COVID, because there's a lot of sites out there selling sort of these motorhomes and that, and they are as dodgy as. You know, this having something like you under one roof surely gives people some peace of mind.
Yeah, well, there's like any industry, there's a lot of bad actors, you know, others. I say a lot, there's bad actors in every industry. So the things that we do from the buyer side to protect the buyers, because we're independent, we're not tied to any one manufacturer or brand. So we're open to that being anything that suits the client. That's the first thing. Then the things that we do to protect the buyer or the potential buyer. First thing is a vehicle that they're looking at. So we HPI every vehicle and check if there's any hidden history. Obviously, we do a lot of the research on that vehicle when we're, you know, dealing with the seller in terms of service history, whatever it might be, service history or any background. There's also a story behind why somebody sells.
Yeah.
So we like to communicate that to the buyer or the potential buyer. And the reasons are varied. You know, there's a list of, you can imagine, lifestyle changes, family growing up, change of circumstances. The chap the other day that was relocated to Abu Dhabi, you know, and, you know, so there's a million reasons why somebody will want to sell. So that's on the seller side. We know the history and the background of the vehicle. Because we do that, we obviously vet the sellers and who they are, what the vehicle is. We do put safeguards in place. And then the things we do to protect them is we HPI the vehicles I mentioned. Secondly, some people will be familiar with this, others not, but it's a habitation check. So the area in the rear of the vehicle, which is a kind of living area, so we get that done independently, and it's like a survey. So they come in and do the gas, because there's gas and electrics in most vans, so they do a gas test to make sure it's safe. They check for dampness. They give us a report, basically. That report gets given to the buyer, and providing everything's okay. If there's something not okay, then we wouldn't, obviously, if it was something more sinister, we would obviously not sell that vehicle on. And lastly, we offer a 3 years insurance-backed warranty. So we've got a partner who basically cover that for the 3 years that they've got that vehicle, and it covers them nationwide. So it's a mechanical and electrical warranty that covers them anywhere in the UK and abroad. They get 90 days cover in Europe as well.
I mean, as well, I mean, that's great as well for the buyer. But even for sellers, you know, maybe if you're a first-time seller and you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what's expected of you, you know, your service to help them is fantastic.
It is a service that we offer. We're a service-based business. So the seller, we solve some problems. A lot of people don't have the time to go through the process of dealing with inquiries and finding that and having that time to invest in the buyer, you know. Secondly, we market the vehicle nationally, so we you know, we've got a background, we know how to market the vehicle. And then there's security regards around transactions in terms of the financial side, and a variety of other things. You know, some people are not comfortable with that process, or people coming to their place of house or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Everyone's different to what their appetite is for you know, doing that. But that's some of the problems we solve for the seller. You know, and valuations is another. I
was going to say, because that could be a tricky one.
It is a tricky one because there's so many different variations. The only data point that a seller has is looking online what vehicles are advertised for. It certainly gives you an insight, but actually what they sell for in the transactionals, we've got data and analytics of, we know what vehicles sell, what they value. So they come to us for a valuation. We then provide them with what that vehicle should be selling for, and or sometimes people are looking for more, but we only onboard that vehicle at that price of what it should be selling for at market price. So that's how the journey starts, from people coming to us.
I mean, you've really got a great business, if you don't mind me saying so, Brian. But was you always like this? Like from a child, did you ever just like want to own your own business, or how did you get into this?
God, where will I start from a child? Well, we get back too long, you might run out of time. So in terms of my working life, I started in the automotive industry. Well, if I go back to when I left school, I worked in the building industry, which I'd done for years. But in my early 20s, I get into in sales, and that was my first entry into, that was my background. So I worked for franchise dealerships, better known as kind of Vauxhall was my first role actually. Then I moved on to brands like Mercedes, Volkswagen, Latcher. So I worked for a lot of different manufacturers in the dealership world, but that's how I started my journey. And as a sales, in the sales side, I had no experience. I did have no clue what I was doing, and that's quite a ruthless world. But in terms of KPIs and performance and targets, and still is to this day. It's obviously changed massively. So I had that, and then I had management. For the latter part of my career was 10 years. So I had 25 years in that space, and was in a management position until 2019. I worked for a company called Lookers, which is a big PLC that own a lot of different garages. So I was with them for a number of years, and they went through some transitional change, and they sold, I think, quite a number of their dealerships at the time. And the dealership that I was in as a manager, I was made redundant, which was the first time that it ever happened in my career, so to speak. So that was, I suppose, at the time, I looked at it and went, right, okay, in that space, if you've got a track record, there's always kind of opportunities for other jobs. But I thought I'd take a step back to just kind of think what I wanted to do. And that was, kind of the January, February of 2020.
Oh, right, so that time.
Good time, yeah, I know. So this is, so I had some contacts, because I was working in commercial vehicles at the time, which is better known as vans. Volkswagen, we were supplying different camper van conversions, and I had no real knowledge of the motorhome space at that time, and then as a client asked us to help with some consultancy to help them with their business. So I went in as a kind of consultant, not as an employed role, and I'd done that for some different businesses, and that was my kind of entry into the world of motorhomes, and built up contacts and all of that stuff, and that's what happened. But when I said that was in February, I think it was 4 weeks in, and then COVID came, so we had 6 months of, just the rest of everybody was the same in that time.
Yeah.
And then things kind of started to go back, and there was an exponential demand at that time for camper vans and motorhomes, because people were looking to go, travel with.
They were just trying to get out of their house, Brian.
They were trying to get out of the house.
They were escaping.
So I was in it at the early stage of that, and that was my kind of. That was.
So maybe then, like in COVID, in a very strange way, was like. It was a good thing. It gave you actually a chance to think about what you wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there'd have been a lot of pre-planning going on there at that time.
Yeah. And
then, obviously, there was the market of everybody wanting to escape from their houses and see Britain still.
It was. It was crazy. It was, and even so, I've got a network where I could source stock, and that was the kind of stuff that I was doing. But then the stock was really in demand.
Yeah.
Prices were going up massively. It was a bit of a perfect storm in the whole motor industry at the time. That there was people will probably be familiar with it, but it was a semiconductor shortage which was affecting builds of vehicles. So that was putting a bit of pressure on. Then there was obviously the demand for for people buying the vehicles. So there was a lot of different factors. And prices were increasing exponentially just on the chassis. So that was kind of what was happening. So getting vehicles was challenging in that time, and I traded throughout my life as a manager. Say traded, buying and selling stuff, and I still managed. It was, we managed through and we got them, but you had to work a lot harder to get the vehicles and get them turned into stock. So that was an interesting thing.
It was. I think for everybody. I mean, being an entrepreneur and a business owner, it's like all of a sudden you go from being this employed role to being like in this self-employed role.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you find that transition yourself and your family and everything else? Was it a tricky one?
I think with the fact that the time when I was made redundant, I looked at it and I thought, well, I had quite a good role and a salary position, and obviously, everything was okay and good, and that was kind of, when I look back on that, it was a blessing in disguise. So because it was kind of forced upon me in a way, whereas I could have went back and got another job, but I had to resist that temptation, I suppose. And then when I seen the opportunities that were there, it was just a case of you just start, and obviously I put a plan together and a strategy of what was going to happen. And you don't know how that's going to continue, but you've just got to take that first step forward, as they say. So it's trying to see down the road to the end is, and I don't know what the end is or the outcome, and I don't think anybody does. So, well,
you're doing so well, Brian, that you've decided that this is now a franchise model. You have gone into that world of franchising.
Yes, yeah. Well, the reason for that was I've been all over the UK with clients, and I found that it would make sense to have people in the local area to be able to look after the clients. Because obviously, as a small business, you can't be everywhere. So that was the route that I decided to focus on and target, rather than a kind of looking for employees and doing it that kind of traditional way. So I looked and done a lot of research on the franchise model. So that from the beginning, when I started the business, the strategy was to prove the model, generate revenue, and make sure that it worked, with a view to then, once that's demonstrated, start to look to bring people on in key areas of the country that we can always do. And we're in our infancy in terms of that side of it. On the franchising model, we've got 2 franchisees, and it's about getting the right people. So we're not in a hurry to scale too quickly, because it's really all about having the right fit for being matching up to what we do. So we'll just take our time with that.
But exciting times though, because
absolutely.
this is like a way of growing the business. But like you said, you're not having to be in about 50 places at once.
Different places, which I still enjoy. But yeah, it lets us kind of get those. And what I quite enjoy is sharing the knowledge that that I've gained over I keep saying 25 years. It's actually a lot more. It's 1997 I started, so it's going on 28, but I've got this figure of 25 that's kind of, I've just stuck to. So I think I'm just going to keep it up. So it's having that 28 years knowledge or whatever it is, it's just, and sharing that with other people that can, take that knowledge and kind of compress it into a much shorter version that allows them to get started quicker, because, you learn, for my career, you learn a lot of things by default and make mistakes. We still make mistakes, but that's how you grow and evolve to become better, and then start to. So that's what we try and do. We try and take that experience and let somebody come in that says, right, here's the things that the good things to do and the things not to do. Do's and don'ts. It's pretty straightforward.
I mean, here you are, you've got this business, and it doesn't always work on your own though, so you must have people around you, team members and people around you who support you. And how important is it to get the right team members?
Absolutely. I think when you're a small business, it can be a lonely journey for some, and I've got a network that we've obviously got people in the business that work, we've got a small team, but that's important to get the right people on board. And the franchisees, I see, they are the team effectively, so it's just a different dynamic in terms of them not being employed. They're invested in building a business of their own, but just under the umbrella of something that's been proven to work, so to speak. But out with that, I'm part of, kind of groups of networks that other business people that helps to, bounce off, and lots of people that you just can relate to, and you get experiences for them in their business. Can be totally different sectors, of course. So that's a good thing, so I enjoy that.
All about the networking there.
Aye, absolutely.
Now, is there anything in your business, because there's always bits in a business I find that everybody loves doing and things that people hate doing. What's your hate, Brian?
Oh God. So if I'm really honest, I'm competent that I can do it, but the admin side and the kind of, the bookkeeping stuff, I've got accountants and I've got somebody I've brought in now to do that kind of stuff, but that's the parts that I'm not really, I'm not
It's
fond
just
of.
the fingers. It's
like the mundane stuff. I really enjoy the sexy part of the role, which is engaging with the people, the motorhome site. That's the bit that I like, and when you talk about network, we've got an extension of network with the people that we work with. We've got a lot of supplier contacts that we work with as well. So you're always engaging with all these different people, as well. So that's great. But that's probably the kind of office part is, I like to be out and about. As I say, I go and get it done. But it's I procrastinate.
You're like the bottom of the pile. Here it goes.
I look at it and I think, okay, just get it done. So,
there's somebody else over there like that. My other fellow Scott over there. He's exactly the same. He needs me kicking the behind on it.
It's hard because it kind of, say addictive. That's maybe the wrong word. But when you're in that space, when you're helping people buy. People talk about selling. I see sales slightly different for a lot of different people, but it's helping somebody buy. Helping somebody buy is different. People say about selling, they talk about, being able to talk. We've heard these sayings before, the gift of the gab. The best thing you can do when you're engaging with somebody is listen. You want to, I know I'm talking here, but you want to talk less, and you want to build a picture about what is their pain point, what is it they're looking for. So really that's,
I was watching a podcast the other day and they said exactly that same point. They just said, you know what, if you listen and find out a business's pain point, then you'll actually know what they need. And it actually, when I sat back and thought, that's so correct.
Sometimes there's a revolutionary technique I've got, which is just to ask them.
Yeah.
Just ask the client, say, what is it you're looking for, and what is it you're looking to do? Just ask them, and then listen, so.
Do you think, though, that a lot of people, like, you go somewhere and somebody's selling to you, it's like, stop, don't pounce, don't jump on me. But you have this thing where you make appointments with people.
Appointment only, yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, if we're going to invest the time to go through a process, which can be, depends how long it could be. We don't know how long. It could be a few hours. And then it can be, as an initial consultation. Or we make appointments, and if somebody's willing to invest that time, but people appreciate it. They appreciate that you'll sit down and go through that. Now, is that person always going to buy a motorhome from us? No, of course that doesn't happen. But it's not about that. They'll either come back, they'll recommend somebody else, they might buy something, they might not buy anything, they might put it off to. When I've got clients come back to us sometimes a year later, which, a year, that's not the norm, but sometimes a year later they'll, listen, we've circumstances changed, but we're now going to either buy or on the selling side as well, so it works both ways. But appointments is how we work it.
It's good as well, because you get that word of mouth. You can't, that's golden.
Yeah, absolutely. And repeat business as well, which is a big thing. So we don't see that as one transaction. And again, that's a view or an approach. People view that different. So I don't look at it as one sale or one transaction.
No.
That's a client that really is the lifetime of that client.
You're building relationships then.
So relationships, absolutely. Yeah. And that person or people or individuals, they will purchase or sell whatever side of the fence they're on, but they will come back if they've had a good experience, whether it's to their circumstances change in a year or two, and that, listen, we're no longer using the motorhome, we're going to buy something different, would you help us sell it? That's a common
Yeah.
theme, and also in the buying. So you're looking to have that client for the lifetime of when they're in the space, you know.
Now, there's a lot of youth. We love when the youth watch the programme.
The what?
and
Sorry, youth.
Youth, yes.
All right, okay.
Anything other than my physog, my age. And they often think, I think, that being an entrepreneur is an easy journey.
Is easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
they think you can just, wake up, make yourself a coffee, like on these blogs that you get,
Right.
and on TikTok, and it's a bit of push the paper around, and it's all passive income, and it's all coming in.
Does it exist?
Yeah, I was just about to say, give them your pearls of wisdom as to what exactly happens in your working day.
Well, it's certainly nothing like you described. The coffee, maybe, but that's about it. No, I think there's a lot of stuff that you see or hear about on the internet, and to be honest, the capacity of what I've got for that was we're very busy, so I don't get to see, but I'm aware of that kind of narrative that I've heard that goes on out there, that you don't need to do much and then you get a lot back for it, and I don't think that exists. I think it's a load of nonsense. You might have a million and one chance that somebody could land lucky with something, but I think out with that, you've got to build something that requires work. You've got to invest the time, and that is not linear. You don't get a return on that time by way of, well, whether you're looking at monetary or whether you're looking to create your own type of lifestyle, whatever it might be. You're going to have skin in the game. You're going to have to invest the time for a start, and invest time in yourself to become more knowledgeable. I mean, I'm always learning, even at my age, whatever age I'll not say, but I'm constantly learning and want to develop, knowledge and ways to evolve. So, that's the best thing I would be looking to say is, look, try and always get your knowledge, get as much knowledge about whatever field you're in, and then apply that knowledge. And by all accounts, you'll also have, it's not a straightforward line. You're going to have lots of knockbacks, barriers, setbacks, failures, whatever you want to call it. You can say failures, feedback, but it's about what I've learned, many years ago, was to enjoy the process of it rather than look at the kind of, oh God, that's not quite going my way. It's about, right, okay, that's not going my way, so how am I going to find a way to make it, work on a workaround? And actually, as you do that more, it actually becomes quite enjoyable. But no, there's nothing I know of that.
There's no quick fix, and it's not 9 to 5, is it, Brian?
It's not 9 to 5, not initially, by all accounts. No, certainly. And I think when you enjoy what you do, it doesn't, you're not really looking for I don't know how many hours or what I commit to in a week. It's certainly not a traditional 9 to 5. You're always switched on. So I'm immersed in the business where I'm kind of 24/7. But it doesn't feel like, a job. If I don't look and go, God, I'm working to 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock or up early in the morning. I don't gauge that. I don't use that as a metric. Whether somebody will agree or disagree with that, but that's how I roll. There's stuff to get done. We know what we need to get done. Just get your shit done, as they say. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. But,
you are today.
Oh, great.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years in the business?
God, that's a great question. And I've been asked that question before, but many years back. In 5 years' time, I'll still be in the business. This is something I really enjoy doing. So, and I think I'm going to circle back when you mentioned COVID, and I know I'm just relating that because it was a time where, and some people had an experience then where they weren't doing a lot, people weren't working, and I mean, after, I think I probably lasted about a week max, and I was getting back to, doing what I wanted to do. So for me, at 5 years, it's not like I'm looking to stop. I'm just going to be continuing this. Where the business goes, and we've got plans and strategies for that, but I'll certainly want to be involved and continue to do what I'm doing, basically, because it's enjoyable. So at the minute, while I'm fit enough and healthy enough to do it, then I'll be continuing as we are.
Would you change anything? Would you change anything, like, from what you've done? Would you maybe have wished you'd done it earlier?
Well, that's an interesting thought, because I've thought of that before, and it's a thing that you say, isn't it? Well, I wish I'd have done this sooner, or I wish I'd have done that. But I believe wholeheartedly that things do happen for a reason, and I don't think you can actually think like that, because if I'd have done it sooner, we wouldn't be where we are just now. And that's the same for everybody, no matter what stage they are or what place they are in their journey of business or life. Things happen, and it's how you deal with that at that time, and how you see it, and how you view it. So I don't think starting earlier. I think when it happened is when it was meant to happen, and that's how I look at life and view things. I think, well, that's meant to be. It's happened now, so how we're going to deal with it, what we're going to do, and how do we move forward. So that's kind of the attitude I try and take.
Well, now you've got to deal with my quick fire questions, Brian. How are you going to deal with that?
Goodness, I don't know. We'll see.
Who would you love to sell a motorhome to? Who'd be a great client?
That's a really tough one. Who would be a great client? Many people. All the clients are great, but you want me to pick a particular individual. I suppose this might be, I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for. One of my people that I've always aspired and found as an inspiration, but they're no longer with us, was Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yes.
So he's no longer here, but if he was, then somebody like that would be, I would have loved to have met. I did see him one time, but kind of before my time in terms of generational. But yeah, so there you go. If he was around, I would, you never know, get him a motorhome for travelling and his travels.
And just imagine Brian gets a whole month off. Yeah, right. Whenever, never. But just imagine you get a whole month off. Where would you love to go travelling in a motorhome?
Well, I've travelled quite a bit. In different parts of the world. Europe's amazing to see, but I've also been to Africa, and I would go back to Africa.
Gosh.
And that's a fantastic experience to go through. I've done a few expeditions. Many years ago, I went through a bit of the Western Sahara as well, so kind of off-road stuff type things. Not quite as luxurious as some of the camper vans and motorhomes that we do, but it's the same idea. You're outdoors, you're travelling. So I would... I would go back to Africa, and
nice.
I will do at some point, go back to Africa.
Very nice. Now, your favourite road trip song?
I like a lot of music, and I'm terrible with names and what. I think for me it would just be a kind of mix of kind of chilled music, that kind of types of music.
Just you've been busy at work, so you're now going chill.
I just like the chilled music, a bit of nice background, nice that's for driving, absolutely. So I don't have a particular artist in mind, but stuff like that in the background is great. Yeah.
Probably my husband over there from Scotland would probably say the Proclaimers, 500 miles.
I could
see that would probably be a top choice for him.
That happens with the Scottish song, absolutely. 500 miles. You need to walk with that, I think. Is that part of the worst, anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be doing a lot of walking, but that is for sure. Your favourite road trip snack? What would you like to snack on?
Favourite road trip snack? Oh, God. Love chocolate, but I'm trying to...
Would it be tablet? I'm really disappointed you didn't bring me some tablet in today.
God, my mother used to make tablet brilliantly. That's just cast me back a long time. Tablet's great.
It's my favourite thing from
tablet
Scotland.
For a long time. Is that
yeah.
your favourite thing?
I go to Luss.
Oh, Luss.
And there's a lovely tiny little shop. If you ever go into Luss, there's a tiny shop and they do...
Amazing tablet.
Yeah, I'm straight in there.
See, that already's making me want to go there to get it, because I love... Firstly, Luss is a beautiful place. Secondly, I've got a sweet tooth, and thirdly, I love tablet. So road trip snack with pretty much anything that's sweet, stuff like that. Easy.
What is your must-have gadget in your motorhome? What will you not leave home without?
Really, if you were doing a trip, you really want to have a GPS or some form of GPS or nav. Depending on, if you're in Europe or whatever, but anywhere like that, you just want to have the facility to know where you're going. GPS, nav, whatever you want to call it. Most of the stuff in the phones now give us that anyway. So
yeah.
So your phone's I mean, I think we're all the same. We're connected to these devices that are convenient and can get a lot of information quickly. So you're going to have that with us, aye.
And I think that's it as well with motorhomes, isn't it? We've got this thing now where they are properly kitted out. You know, they have got all the bells and whistles. It's pretty much just like a moving home from home, really.
Absolutely. You can go anywhere and, you know, park up for however long you want. Aye. So it gives you the freedom to go and explore anywhere, really. And the UK is a great place to explore. There's,
you know, when we do our show Discover Britain, I can safely say that some of the places we've been and you've never heard of,
I know.
They're like, wow.
I know. I get to them
wow.
regular, and you're like this. You're like, this is a beautiful place. I know, and there's too many to mention. So
far too many. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Brian. I know it was a long trip to good old Lincolnshire here, but I know that it's been an absolute blessing. And so if you are interested in finding out more, get in touch. Brian at Motorhome World in Glasgow. You cannot miss your website. It's fantastic. Easy to understand, by the way, because some of these websites are all over the shop. Yours is nice and simple, does what it says on the can. And if you wish to be a guest too, don't forget to get in touch. All the details are in the bio. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming in.
Thanks, Emily. Thank you. Good to meet you.